A high component count does not mean you have a good game. Hello and welcome to Assorted Meeples. I'm Phillip, the Meeple on duty, and today we're taking kind of a look at a question I asked myself in a video recently about how many components in a game is too many. If you haven't already, there's a link in the description to our Patreon page. $1 a month gets you into our Discord, where we have one of the best non-toxic gaming communities around, as well as gets you in the door. $5 gets you in the door for the board game nights that happen the second Friday of every month. And yeah, so go ahead and click that link down in the description below, and we will see you soon. Now, back to the video. I have games all over the place for number of components in the box. Even simple games have a ton of components sometimes. Like, I have Santorini. Santorini has an insane number of components in comparison to how simple the game is. On the other end of the spectrum, I have Onitama, which is another great two-player game that has in practicalities, has very few components to what you have. There are also some questions that I'm going to ask as well right here. Now, when you say component, what do you mean? Do you mean cards? Do you mean tokens and cardboard chits that you're moving about? Little wood cubes and all that? Do minis count as token or as components? And yes, when you're using the broad spectrum like I am of component, then you're talking about all of it. So you're talking about the cards, you're talking about the cardboard, the game boards, player boards, minis, tokens, resource cubes, everything that's there. That's what you're talking about. And again, I have Onitama, which has 10 pieces, a rollout mat, and probably like 20 something cards. Very few. Amazing little game. If you haven't played it before, I highly suggest it. It plays really fast, gets real thinky and knifey really fast if you're playing against somebody, and it's an even contest. I got my butt handed to me at Gen Con when I played a tournament there. It was bad, but also really fun. Bunny Kingdom is on the far other spectrum. It has an insane number of cards. It has an insane number of cardboard cutouts and plastic pieces for all the cities, resources, and things like that. Plus, you have every player's bunnies that they put out. Marvel United has a mini and a deck of cards for each character. And now when I get the Marvel United Multiverse Pledge in, it's well over the 300 character, or I think it's like 320 some characters roughly total. So, and like 3,500 cards, something like that. It's insane. But there's very few cardboard chits and things like that. So there's a trade-off there. Skyline Express has a ton of little cardboard pieces and cutouts and stuff like that for the game that it is. Now, are all those really good games? Yes, they are really good games. Regardless of the component cost, they are all really good games. What does it come down to in my head then for when it's too many components? For me, with the desire to play all those games behind me and limited time and resources, it comes down to two main things for me. How does it store? Is it a pain in my butt to get off the shelf, set up on the table, play for an hour, and tear back down, and that setup and teardown time is longer than the game time, I have issues with that. Does it have a good insert in there that aids with you setting up and tearing down and putting it away nicely? Does it sit in the shelf nicely and keep all the components where they should be, or are you searching around because everything is just thrown in one big box? The other thing is, do all the components do what they need to do without overwhelming me as I'm playing? Is there so much going on the board that I forget one system or one, and I lose track of what I'm doing through the game? If that's the case, then that's not a good component quality / game design. If there's so much going on that you lose track of parts of the game in the grand scheme of things, then do you really need those pieces in there? And how many components do you have? Like in this argument, like Tokaido Duo has coins in it. It has more coins than I will ever need. Anytime that you get coins, if you get 5, you exchange for a 5 piece. Once you get to 10, you get to exchange for a big 10 piece that goes for scoring on your board. But I have 4, I think I have like 10 1s, 4 5s, and all the 6s I need. But I only need 8 1 coins and 2 5 coins for how the game is played. So it's wasted components and wasted space in my game box. That is kind of all my arguments on components. Like, is it too much of a hassle to pull out and put away? Are the components doing what they need to? And do I have too many of them or too few of them? And honestly, I've skipped a few games just because I looked at the contents of the box and went, ooh, no. Or the Kickstarter proudly displaying over this many pieces and resources and things. And I'm like, I don't want that. 10,000 cards. No, I'm never playing with those. I've got Marvel United and Primal right behind me. That's like Primal's like 1,200 cards, and that's a lot of cards, and I'm not sure I'll ever see them all. But all of them are very succinctly needed for the game and the way they set them up, so they're not wasted, and it's not just extra floofera, besides having that many monsters and that many cards to begin with. So there's that balance of, we need this for the game, but there's also a lot going on. If you're just building a game with a lot of moving parts, it's typically going to be more fiddly and not something I want. But if you create a very streamlined game with a lot of bits, I'm still going to play it because it's still a good game. It's just, I might get a little skittish and not want to play it at first because so many things going on, or so many little pieces to keep track of. That's kind of all I have. Thank you guys very much, and we will see you guys next time. All right, bye.
If you like what you just saw, please support us by hitting that like button and subscribing to our channel for more great gaming content.